What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Breaking and Entering podcast. Week 7 is almost over. We're almost halfway through the season. Time is flying. Brandon, how you
Yeah,
doing, man?
I'm good, man. Relaxed and refreshed.
I hear you. I certainly hear you. Hope it was a good trip out there.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's what's up.
Oh, I'm doing opening drive. I
Let
was
me
sitting
get
there
going.
waiting for you. All right, let's get to this opening drive, everyone. My bad. All right, Bill Belichick, he won his 300th career game with a big home upset over the Bills on Sunday. Broncos safety Kareem Jackson, he was ejected for the second time on Sunday. This time he had a hit for against Packers tight end Luke Musgrave, and Cardinals left tackle DJ Humphries, he was ejected on Sunday's loss. After making contact with an official.
Yes, sir. Before we get started, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures in mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned, so come get some of this sweet hemptation and taste the premium difference. Use code B and E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. Now let's get back to our show. Connor, the Patriots.
I lost you for a second. You were talking about Bills and Patriots.
Yes, sir. Let me get your thing.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah. What an upset it was, y'all. Patriots had the Bills from the jump. It was clear to see that. I remember seeing New England went up by a field goal early in the first quarter, and I kind of thought it was going to end up being one of those days for Buffalo. They've had a few games like that
Mm,
this year. It's been a common thing for Buffalo, in my opinion, over the past year and a half, losing the teams that they should beat. I mean, you talk about a New England team that came in, what was they, 1-5, I think it was? Yeah, 1-5.
yeah.
And they took the loss. Not much of a run game for either team. But the clear difference maker was those turnovers by Josh Allen. He had an interception he tossed and then a fumble as well, which he didn't recover. Got to give respect though to my guy Mac and Cheese.
Oh
Um,
God.
he played a great game. I mean, after being benched in multiple games this year to come out and play like that against the defense, I know that's missing was the big guy Jones, I think it is, and Matt Milano. Correct me
Mm-hmm.
if I'm wrong on that defensive tackle that they or defensive end, excuse me, that was out for them. But yeah, Buffalo fans they should be a bit concerned. They got a short turnaround week. They'll be hosting the Bucks on Thursday night. Um, there in Buffalo, but not a good look if you're a Buffalo fan or anybody on that organization. What about you?
Yeah, you hit it right though. Mac Jones, mac and cheese, as you called him, played a great
Yeah.
game. 25 of 30, 272 yards, had the game winning touchdown at the end of the game to what's my guy's name? Mike Gesicki. You mentioned the Bills, Milano out. I can't think of the defensive end who got hurt as well, but also Tre'Davious White. So I think those subtractions that they got on the defense right now is going to loom large into the rest of the season, the teams they play. Usually you have a sure and stout defense, but now you can see the chinks in their armor. So I think going forward, the Bills might be in a couple more close games where you think they would beat teams that they normally should beat, but just with the losses that they got on defense, I think it's going to be kind of tough going forward for them. I mean, they still got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and James Cook and crew, but yeah, it's going to be tough going forward for them. They might have a long season ahead of them. They can't get that defense under control. I'm not saying Mac Jones is a bad quarterback, but he went out there and looked like the quarterback that the Patriots thought they were getting, the quarterback of the future.
Yep.
So we'll definitely keep an eye on how they're going to look going forward. I mean, but yeah, this is a good win for the Patriots. They're talking about
Much
Bill
needed.
Belichick. He signed an extension in the offseason as
I heard.
well.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, I'm sure he was happy to get another win because there was been talks going in, in this season so far saying, well, when they're going to give up on Bill Belichick. But
Mhm.
it looks like that won't be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely much needed win there for the Patriots. I did hear that New England extension thing. It's kind of crazy they kept it quiet because I was under the understanding that it just happened. So if it happened during the off season, that's even more. I mean, they keep things quiet up there, but damn, that's really quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah. Turning our attention to the AFC West, the Chiefs have now won 5 in a row after a big win over the Chargers Sunday afternoon. It was 31-17 there, the final in Kansas City. Did you watch any of the Brittany Mahomes Taylor Swift show?
I did. Yes, I sure did. That's exactly what it's turned it into. And
Yep.
Taylor Swift at the game, they are informing us, letting us know, and you'll probably see at least 2 or 3 shots of them during the game. So play a drinking game. Every time they see or even mention Taylor Swift, just take a shot, see how long you last during the game.
Yep.
But back to the game, most of the action seemed to happen in the first half. I mean, both of these teams put up a lot of points in the first half, and then the Chiefs were the only team to score in the second half when they had that touchdown in the fourth quarter. But another good win for the Chiefs. That defense, they look like a more well balanced team this year. The defense is making plays. It's not just the offense saving the defense making plays as well. I know Austin Eckler is a little banged up, but he didn't do too much. He only had 5 yards rushing on a day. It's actually Joshua Kelly who had himself a better game. He finished with 75 rushing yards and 7 carries. But I don't know. Is time ticking on excuse me, Los Angeles Chargers and Brandon Staley? I mean, it seems like every week we talk about him and the seat's getting hotter and hotter.
Yep.
It's another loss for the team. They're now 2-4. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll survive it through the year or not. We'll definitely see and keep an eye on this though. What did you think of this game, man?
All around team win there for the Chiefs. No other way to put it. Offensively, Mahomes and Kelsey were on fire all day. Defensively, you had 5 sacks on Herbert, 2 interceptions. And then on special teams, welcome back McCole Hardman, was just traded back from the Jets, I believe, midweek. He had that big late game 50-yard punt return, set up Kansas City for another score. And the Chargers, they made it a game for most of the first half, but then they went ice cold in the second half, like you mentioned. I do got to give a shout out though to Josh Palmer. He had 5 receptions for
Mm-hmm.
133 yards. That's a pretty good game. He had 60 of them on a long catch and run. Um, but yeah, like you mentioned, it's looking like Brandon Staley will be gone um, very soon. We had he had a late game debacle against the Cowboys while I was away, and then this here as well. I mean, the only benefit I would give them is that Kansas City has owned that division. So I personally didn't expect much for them going into this game, but again, this has been something that's been going on for quite some time. But yeah, the Chiefs are definitely the cream of the crop in the AFC for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into this NFC East matchup. Commanders at the Giants. Giants beat the Commanders 14-7. Just another awful performance by the Commanders. Like I said, folks, I've been watching NFL Red Zone ever since that they got their asses whipped by the Bears. I was like, to hell with them. I've been watching NFL Red Zone, so I didn't see a lot of this game. Thankfully, I knew I would have blew a gasket. Blood pressure would have been sky high if I did watch it. Going into the game, Sam Howell, the most sacked quarterback in the league, and they finished with 6 sacks in this game. So he might break David Carr's record of being the most sacked quarterback of all time. I don't know, just the way they're going. I mean, we brought in Andrew Wiley, some other guys in the offseason. I thought that would help. Somehow they're even worse. I mean, it's just terrible. They had 10 penalties. They had more penalties than they did points. I mean, just another sickening performance. You saw the tweet from Magic Johnson. Jonathan Allen said some things that were definitely true. You should look them up if you haven't seen them, guys. They were pretty much he's been here for 7 years, and I'm not gonna get into it. I mean, but he definitely expressed how a lot of people feel with this sorry ass team. That's I tried, man. I gave you chance at a chance, but I just don't know. Eric Bieniemy is it's starting to look funny for you too, man. They were thinking you'd be the coach of the future, but just the way things are looking, the offense is inept. I mean, I know it's the line is bad too, but we can't get nothing going. Only reason we scored that touchdown is because they muffed a
Yep.
punt, and they got it in our we got it in their territory.
Mhm.
If that didn't happen, we probably get shut out. I mean, just bad. Guys are getting wasted away. Terry McLaurin just getting wasted away. Jahan Dotson's having a bad season. Another drop. I saw him at the end of the game. He still, had his on his knee after the game. Just looked like he was shaking his head. So I don't know, man. It's probably things are going to get worse before they get better. I think they have the Eagles next week, if I'm not mistaken. So um, if you got Red Zone, Commanders fan, I suggest y'all watch Red Zone or the other games. I wouldn't watch these clowns play anymore unless you were forced to watch them. But yeah, man, this is a terrible game. What were your thoughts, Brandon? No, you're happy to see the
Yeah.
Giants win.
I was, but I wasn't because I picked y'all. So it was like, damn,
Mm.
the time I pick against the Giants, they win, and it's crazy. But yeah, going back to y'all, this Commanders' offensive line has got to be the worst or one of the worst in the league, and I'm not even joking about it. From what I understand, I saw a stat line. Um, I was in and out because I just got home. The um, Sam Howell was sacked more in the first half than he had completions. I don't know how accurate that was or what, but I could have sworn I heard that. And based off that penalty, more penalties than points overall, it's kind of sounding like it. Um, but you know what helps with a struggling offensive line is running the ball, and that seems like y'all refuse to stick to the run, like you said. Uh, Chris, what do you have? Rodriguez, 31 rushing
Yeah,
yards. Brian Robinson, 23. The quarterback, 15. So Gibson was a no show apparently. But the Giants, like you said, they were trying to help y'all. They had two fumbles. The Sterling Shepard punt return that was generous. Set y'all up with great field position there, and you said you scored. Obviously, um, I said at the beginning of last year, and it's starting to look more and more obvious now that Tyrod Taylor is the obvious better option for New York at quarterback. But I think they're kind of stuck because of that contract they gave Daniel Jones. I truly don't understand why he's not a starter somewhere. I know he had that issue out there with the medical team with the Chargers, but
mm-hmm.
everywhere he's gone, he's been decent. Like, no lie. I wish he was still like a backup quarterback with us, but I know he wanted to go get his coins. So yeah, he's better than some of these quarterbacks that are out there. They've been starting most of the season. Giants, they might get on a small run though. They got the Jets next week and the Raiders after that, and I think they're at Las Vegas for that second game. But either way, the Raiders, like I mentioned early in the year, you want you want to win, play the Raiders. So yeah. Overall, like I said, I'm gonna end it the same way I started. Your offensive line needs some serious help and fast because it's definitely not looking good.
It sure is. If you want to win, play the Commanders. You want to get sacked, play the Commanders too, man. Yeah, man. Definitely not looking good at all. All right, let's get into these other scores from week 7. The Jags beat the Saints in Thursday night football 31-24. The Bears beat the Raiders 30-12. This is with the Justin Fields not in. They had their
Yeah.
backup quarterback in. The Raiders had their backup quarterback in too,
Yep.
Brian Hoyer. Browns topped the Colts by 1 point, 39-38 in a back and forth game. Falcons win on a leg of cool again, 16-13. Ravens crushed the Lions 38-6. Steelers topped the Rams 24-17. Seahawks were over the Cardinals 20-10. Broncos beat the Packers 19-7. And the Eagles improved to 6-1 after a 31-17 win over the Dolphins in Sunday Night Football. Brandon, which were you watching or shocked you the most?
One game I was watching, I was really shocked. I thought the Jags would beat the Saints pretty good, but they kind of got ahead, and the Saints came back there in the end. Where they had 15 points in the fourth quarter, and I was really getting nervous because again I picked the Jaguars in that one, but a good way to close it out there for the Jaguars. I know the Saints fans, they were booing in the first half and they were cheering in the fourth
Mm-hmm.
quarter, and then I think right there at the end they went back to booing again. So tough
Right.
break for them. Um, let's see, it was another one. The Steelers over the Rams. Did not expect that.
Yeah.
Traveling coast to coast, but if any team can do that. You know, you base it off of the coaching is Mike Tomlin and those Steelers, man. Great win for them. I know the receivers still had a good game there for the Rams, the stat line that I saw, but um, yeah, definitely an upset there, in my opinion, to go in there and beat the Rams coast to coast like that. And then the was it the Broncos over the Packers there? I did pick Green Bay. Uh, you know, my line in week one was love is in the air, but I don't think the love is in the air anymore. It's not looking good. 2-4. They're struggling in the run game, even though they got both guys back. They just can't get anything going. They seem to like scoring in the teams for some reason. I recall a couple games this year they've been in those teams in the teens when it's all said and done. And then the Dolphins and the Eagles. I thought it was going to be a better game than it turned out to be. I did watch the first half. I think I did. Um, both of these teams have bright futures, obviously. So yeah, it was good to see early on. It was a lot of speed out there, obviously for Miami. Good to see Jalen Hurts and those guys out there. Always like to watch him. So yeah, which of these games caught your attention the most?
I was surprised you ain't talk about the Ravens beating the hell out of the Lions. I did not see that coming at all. The
I
Lions on a 4 game win streak, and they just
yeah,
came in there and got stumped.
I picked the Lions, but you know, I wasn't on their hype train heading into the season, so it was like I didn't expect it to be this big of a margin of victory. Even to go in the half, I think we was up. Let's see, what was it at halftime? Of course,
Shit,
I
y'all, I
can't
think it was
find it
like
now.
28
Yeah,
zip
we
or
are shutting them
something.
out. Yeah, 28-0 at halftime. Um, yeah, I definitely didn't think it was going to be that big of margin of victory. But one note I did forget about this. I'm glad you brought it up. Was it's hard to shut teams out, man. Um, you know, we let them in the red zone a couple times, and then we had a big Geno Stone interception, and uh, either that or they got stopped on fourth down once or twice. But then they scored right there at the top of the fourth quarter, and we did shut them out on. I think that was Jameer Gibbs, if I'm not mistaken, because then they tried a
Hmm.
2 point conversion on a was it a drop off in the backfield to him again, but we blew that up and kept it to 6 points. But yeah, it's definitely hard to shut teams out, man. We haven't had a shutout in a while, and I was like, this defense, the way we're playing this year, we're kind of due for it. Even the fact that we're so short in the secondary, but definitely looking good. Lamar Jackson looked good. I think he had one of his better games in his career for sure.
It
Um,
was
and
great.
I have more on him a little bit later. But yeah, good win. We do have Arizona next week, which we'll talk about later in the week. So I don't want to get Ravens. I want y'all to focus. You know what I'm saying? Don't skip over them. I mean, because they played a lot of teams good. But yeah, we'll get into that next week. Or later in
Yeah,
the
if
week,
y'all
excuse
play
me.
the Commanders, y'all could probably get a shutout. Wait, we playing? Sorry, yes. But I was definitely that Browns Colts game. NFL Red Zone was,
Yep.
playing that back and forth just because all the stuff that was happening that game. Uh, Miles Garrett had himself another hell of a game. Gardner Minshew played all right. He did have some turnovers, I believe, but remember I saw him scrambling for a touchdown too. So that was a really good game, back and forth. Dustin Hopkins came up big for the Browns. I was surprised by that Broncos Packers game a little bit too. Happy to see Russ and crew get a win. But yeah, that was a shocking one. And like you said, that Steelers Ram games, I had the Rams. I thought the Rams would
Mhm.
win that game, but the Steelers, they kind of unpredictable to me too. Like one week the offense looks awful, then the next
Yep.
week they look like they can go out there and beat anybody's. TJ Watt flying off the edge against anybody
Yeah.
he wants to. So it's weird, man. Steelers are kind of like the Browns. Like I'm just gonna leave them alone, just watch them. I don't feel like making any type of decisions on that team whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, another good week of football. Let's get into these player awards of bonehead plays of the week. I'm gonna let you go first. Let's start with the offensive side of the ball.
Offensive player of the week, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
Hmm.
Kind of obvious 21 for 27, 357, 3 touchdowns. He had a rush touchdown, added some yards on the ground, of course, and 155.8 passer rating. Lamar Jackson. You?
Same. I gotta agree with you on that one. Lamar Jackson did his thing. playing himself back into MVP conversation. They keep winning like they're winning. So definitely gotta give it up to Lamar. And he's my offensive player of the week as well. Defensive player of the week. Who you got, Brandon?
I'm gonna stick in the AFC North. Gonna go to over to Cleveland. Myles Garrett, 9 tackles, 7 on his own, 2 strip sacks. I thought about it before, and I see you shaking your head, so you're probably on the same
Yeah,
page. He had a monster game.
definitely. Yeah, he killed it. Those 2 forced fumbles, blocked a field goal as
Mhm.
well. So yeah, I got to give it up to Myles Garrett. He had one of them games that you dream about doing in Madden. So yeah,
Yep.
salute to him. Special teams player of the week. Who you got?
Same team, same player, Myles Garrett. You mentioned the block field goal in the first half led to some points, and I thought I saw a stat line. Don't quote me, but I believe he was the first player since 2000 to have a pair of strip sacks and a block fumble in the same game. I don't know how accurate that is, but I believe I saw the stat line. But yeah, either way, whether it's true or I'm a way off, he had a hell of a game.
Yeah, I thought we were about to go 3 for 3 because I got a Browns player too as my special teamers, but I got to give it to Dustin Hopkins. He had 4 field
Okay.
goals, 3 of them for 50 plus. They needed all those field goals. You can see they only won by 1 point. So yeah, I gotta give it to Dustin Hopkins as my special teamers of the week. Bonehead player, team, whatever. Who you got, Brandon?
Yeah, I didn't see much football yesterday, but I have to go with, for lack of no other knowledge, Broncos safety Kareem Jackson was ejected. They hit on Packers, the tight end, and the Cardinals left tackle who made contact with the official got ejected just because, obviously I know it's a lot out there going on, a lot of emotions and all that type of stuff, but definitely for the Cardinals player, you got to keep your head on your swivel because you can't even damn near look at a ref nowadays or an official without getting ejected. So yeah, I have to go with those 2 guys right there. Yourself? I think I might know where this is going though.
Nah, I want to get back to that Broncos Kareem Jackson ejection because I saw the hit. It was a big hit,
Mm,
brutal hit. I didn't think it was dirty, honestly.
yeah.
I think because from what I saw, he lined him up, but he hit him with more of his shoulder. I don't know if I didn't see too much helmet contact. I know he was a defensive player, but I don't know. I think he's got a bad rep now, just because, like you said, he's got ejected for the second time.
Mm,
They're probably going to fight him heavily. He might get
yeah.
suspended,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I didn't think that was a
Yeah.
dirty hit. I think he, is a headhunter maybe, but
Mm,
from the way he hit it, he could have went like this, but he
mm-hmm.
he led with the shoulder end. It was just a good
Okay.
brutal hit in my opinion. So sucks for that.
Gotcha.
But back to play of the week. I gotta agree with you. I'm gonna give it to the Cardinals tackle DJ Humphries for getting ejected as well. I was gonna give it to the whole Commanders team, this bonehead team of the week. They can get it as well, but if I pick a player, yeah, DJ Humphries. But yeah, Commanders bonehead team of the week. You definitely got that for sure. My opinion.
Got you. All right, Monday Night Football coming up in just a few hours. We got the 49ers going to Vikings. 49ers fresh off their first loss of the season. And the Vikings, not so good this season. They are, let's see, 2-4, but surprisingly, they're second in the NFC North because that division is obviously not very good. Um, I'm going to go with the obvious pick. And I know a lot of times we're off on this, but 49ers, I think they'll go in there. Minnesota is 0-3 at home. It's going to be loud in there, but it seems like nothing phases the 49ers. Again, I know they're coming off a tough loss on the road, second straight of a back to back road travel period for the 49ers. Looks like they're 7-point favorites in this one, from what I'm seeing. And I know they're coming off a couple of their players are a little bit banged up too. I think, is Debo out? Somebody's out, right?
Trent Williams is out.
Okay, Trent Williams. Oh, that's a big
And yeah, Debo is out too. He might miss
yeah,
the next 2 games, like a hairline
gotcha.
fracture or something in the shoulder.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the 49ers though, even though they're a little bit banged up.
Yeah, I always get this wrong. I did get the last one right last week, but I was joking around. I said Raiders, but I thought the Green Bay was gonna win. I said Raiders. I was like, if I pick Green Bay, the Raiders gonna win. So that's why I picked the Raiders. I'm feeling the same way. I feel like the Niners are gonna win, but I'm picking the Vikings just because I picked the 49ers. Some fluke bullshit happens, kind of like last week when they lost to the Browns. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I know that them got Justin Jefferson, but maybe they can pull something out of their ass. Kirk Cousins. You like that? Maybe we'll have one of those type of games. We'll see what happens, but I'm gonna go with the Vikings. But I think the 49ers should win. But I like the
Got you.
like I said, Vikings.
All right, everyone, that's going to do it for this episode of the B&E podcast presented by Premium. We'll be back later this week for a preview of Week 8, directly after Thursday Night Football, featuring the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Buffalo Bills. Until next time, be kind to one another.